If you're looking to photograph birds in flight, then there are 5 settings that I highly recommend. The first of which would be to set the correct shutter speed. Now, the shutter speed is going to be one of the key elements for determining how sharp our shot is. Now, under usual shooting conditions, most people would recommend using a shutter speed of 1 over the focal length of your lens. However, with birds in flight, they're going to be travelling a lot faster, so you're actually going to need an even faster shutter speed than this. As such, I'd recommend using a shutter speed of at least 1/2000th of a second in order to get a sharp shot every time. Now, it is actually possible to shoot some birds in flight at a slower shutter speed than this, but they're generally going to be species which tend to glide. So if you think about things like gannets or big birds of prey. And this is because we're able to track our subject, meaning that the subject will stay relatively sharp. You might get a little bit of maybe wing flutter, and you may even get some motion blur in the background, which makes our photos look a little bit more dynamic. But if you're an absolute beginner just looking to get sharp photos, then I would recommend sticking to 1/2000th of a second. Now, having a fast shutter speed is just one element that you're going to need to control. And the next one that we're going to be looking at is aperture. Now, with aperture, I would generally recommend that you shoot your lens wide open. This lens right here is the Sigma 150-600. So shooting this lens wide open means shooting this lens at f6.3. Essentially, what you want to do is to set your lens to the lowest possible f-stop. This has 2 benefits, the first of which is you're going to bring in the most amount of light possible. The second is that you're going to create quite a shallow depth of field, and this means that you're going to get a lovely blurry background to your photos. Now, having a shallow depth of field means that we're going to have to absolutely nail our autofocus. So what autofocus settings do I recommend? Well, the first of which I would recommend is having your camera in autofocus continuous mode. This means that as the bird is flying through the frame, your camera is going to be tracking it, meaning that whenever you're ready to take the photo, hopefully it'll be locked onto your subject. But what about focus area? Now, as a general principle, I like to try and make my autofocus zones as small as I can possibly get away with, which means that my camera is going to be looking at a more targeted area. As such, for birds in flight, I don't actually like to use the wide autofocus settings, and I'd much rather set my focus to zone autofocus. Now, another thing that you're going to have to consider when you're shooting birds in flight is your ISO. For me personally, I like to set my ISO to auto ISO. This means that I can control the shutter speed, as we spoke about earlier, meaning that I can get a sharp enough shot, as well as the aperture, meaning that I can control the overall look of my photographs, making sure I've got a lovely blurry background, as well as helping out the camera by letting in as much light as possible. And then from there, the camera is going to be deciding what ISO it needs in order to get a balanced exposure. Now, there are some caveats to using auto ISO. I would recommend limiting my ISO in general for full frame cameras. I would recommend limiting my ISO between 100 and 12,800. Whereas on an APS-C camera, where it has a smaller sensor and as such is going to be a little bit more restrictive in terms of the ISO range, I would set my camera between 100 and ISO 6400. Now, the downside of having photos with a higher ISO does mean that you're going to introduce more noise, but fortunately now there are some fantastic denoising software. I've recently been enjoying using DxO Photolab 9, where I've been able to push my ISO up even higher on my full frame cameras than 12,800, and I've been able to shoot at around 20,000 ISO, which is really fantastic. But obviously not everyone has access to different bits of software, but if you don't have access to some of this denoising software, then the ranges that I spoke about earlier will be absolutely fine. So now we have our camera creating a nice balanced exposure. I want to talk a little bit about exposure compensation. What is this? Essentially what it means is that instead of creating a normal balanced exposure, we're going to be telling our camera we actually want the overall exposure to be a little bit brighter or a little bit darker. Why is this important when it comes to birds in flight? Where if we're shooting on very bright days or perhaps against clouds, then your camera is going to be very much influenced by the brightness of the background. This means that we're more likely to come away with photos which are a little bit darker, and we may have lost some detail in the plumage. So if we wanted to brighten up our photos in camera, then using exposure compensation is a great way of brightening up our photos, allowing us to see the details within the birds. The thing to bear in mind here is obviously we're going to lose a little bit of detail from the background in doing so, because we're more likely to blow out the highlights, but it does mean that we get the details back in our subject. Whereas very bright species like egrets or like this puffin behind me, then you may want to actually bring down the overall exposure. And this means you're not going to lose any detail from the bright highlights that you'd see on the plumage of the birds, meaning that you can really bring out the details in the feathers. And if you want a reminder of anything that we've spoken about in this video, then there's a link to a free guide down in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.